Swift Caravan Setup Guide. Today we're looking at the Swift Freestyle SE 2018 and we're going to show you how to set the caravan up on site. If we start on the near side, the door side, we've got external 240 socket, which if we've got the mains electric plugged in, the mains 230 volt plugged in, you can plug a normal 3-pin plug in and that will give you power into the awning side. We've got a storage locker that goes underneath the seating. External barbecue point. Now this feeds off the main gas bottles, so as you turn the main gas bottles on, little fitting that will go onto your gas pipe to your barbecue, and that will plug in and that will just turn on the yellow tab. Main gas locker at the front, so room for 2 bottles. It's set up for propane, so all that you will need is a propane gas bottle. Now the thread on these is reverse thread, so to tighten it up, we're going to go anti-clockwise, and to undo it we're going to go clockwise. So just remember, when you're putting your bottles on and off, it's the opposite way round. Again, to turn the gas on, it's just on the top of the bottle. On the regulator up top, there is a little shut-off valve at the side, which is more of a service valve. So really, when you're just turning your gas on and off, it should just be on the bottle and you shouldn't need to touch that one. As I say, that does feed through to the barbecue point. You don't have to turn anything on. It is just literally straight on that barbecue point at the side. Now this Swift Caravan is fitted with the Alco ATC, and that does run through your 13-pin electrics. So if you've only got half of the pins on the 13-pin, just the road lighting circuit wired in, your ATC won't work. If you have got the full 13-pin wired up, so your fridge will then work, your ATC, and you'll charge the battery as you're driving. And again, as I say, do make sure that your vehicle is fitted with a 13-pin electrical connector. We've got the AKS 3004 hitch head stabiliser, which again we will go through and show you how that goes onto your vehicle when you come to collect the caravan. We have got a hitch up video, which again we'll put into the description of this video, and you'll be able to see how that works also. Moving to the off side of the caravan, our first point is the vent for the Truma heating system. So nothing to do there, you don't need to put any different covers on, any winter covers, anything like that. It is just a flue, so no need to do anything there. Water pump just pushes straight into the side here, so drops into your aquarol and pushes straight in. There is a little blue clip at the bottom that just holds that in, so just make sure that that's clipped in properly. Battery compartment, so again that will take up to 110 amp leisure battery easily. The mains power, when you come onto site, will plug in as normal. We have also got underneath of there the switch for the motor mover, which again will run through that when you collect the caravan. There is a little cutout for the cable, so when you're on site that will just feed through there and you can shut the locker up. So onto the cassette toilet, little orange handle pulls up and this pulls out. It will extend out, so it's on wheels for taking over to the Elson point. To empty the cassette, exactly the same as other types of cassettes, the empty valve turns round, we remove the cap and the little air valve here, if you press that in, and that will empty that cassette out nice and easily. We have also then got the manual opener, so you can then put your blue chemicals into here. Again, just make sure that that is fully closed and in the straight position as here, otherwise that's not going to slide and fully fit back into position. There's a little drain off bung little drain off pipe that just sits into this top section here. So again, to drain off the flush water, we just remove that cap and that will drain for the winter. Your flush water, so with pink chemical and water, is into the top compartment here. A little watering can or a little bottle, and again the only indication that you've got when that's full is just literally when it comes up to the top. So when your feet are wet, it's full. Moving on, we've got more underbed storage. Now this goes underneath of one of the rear bunk beds. We've got the ladder for the bunk bed, and we've also got the winding handle, and there's a couple of waste pipes in there as well. Waste pipes just fit in just by the back of the toilet, and the waste for your sink, shower and your kitchen sink all in one location there. I believe that's everything on the outside. We'll move now to the inside. I'll just put the awning light on. Don't know whether you can see there the LEDs on the awning light. So moving into the inside of the caravan, once we've got our electric plugged in, our gas turned on, we can then start putting power into the caravan. We've got our main on and off button on the bottom right. This will now tell us what we've got coming out of the charger unit, and if you've not plugged into the electric, this will also tell you what your battery power is. Just turn the radio off. Over to the left hand side, we've then got water pump on and off. We won't put that on just yet. We've then got our lighting. We've then got above cabinet lighting, which we can dim down, and then we've got our awning light as we just showed you outside. For the dimmer level, we can use the little side arrow and we can change the level of dimming on the lights. And then your up and down arrows, you can change the time, etc. That is a little bit more in depth, and it's probably better having a look on the manual on the Swift website. None of the new Swifts now come with manuals, and it's all the downloadable version on Swift's website, so you'll find that on their website. Now moving on to the water system, as I say, I'm not going to put the water pump on just yet. I'm going to make sure that all of our taps are in the closed positions, so that includes shower, bathroom tap and the sink taps. We've made sure that they're all turned off before we put that water pump on. The other thing that we need to check is that our water heater isn't drained down. So if you've used or not used the caravan for a while, or it's been over winter, our little drain bung to actually drain the caravan down for winter is just here. So in the down position as we are now, we're okay and we're ready to fill the system up. If you pop that into the upright position, that will then drain the water. So we'd put that into the upright position, open all the taps, and that will drain the water. But again, as we come back into a caravan, then we just need to make sure that that's in the down position and we can fill the system back up. We need to make sure our water pump's plugged in on the outside. We've then got, while we're underneath this seat, we'll just show you the main control panel with all of your fuse spur switches. So we've got all the main breakers. We've then got our main charger unit switch on and off. If we were on a site and we'd got reverse polarity on the wiring system, so if it was wired wrong, this would illuminate. We've got our main shut off button, so in the winter you can turn that off and that will kill all the power to the battery and also from the solar panel, so nothing will put any power through if you put that switch into the up position as shown here, and down is on. We've then got our fuses, which again, if you have a look on the handbook online, that will tell you exactly what fuse is for what. And our last one is our heating and hot water. So again, this will then put our power through to our heating system above the door, so to be able to control our water heater and heating within the caravan. That needs to be on. If it's not, you'll have a little warning triangle at the bottom of the panel that tells you that we've got no power coming through to it. We can now move back to above the door. So we've now made sure that all of our taps are closed, our drain bung is in the correct position, and we can now put our water pump on. So we've got water level low at the moment because we've just put it on and we've not got any water through the system. As I now drain or bleed the water through, we will then get the water back through the system, and our water low level should turn off. So to clear the low level warning, if we just press the little arrow, and that will clear that out. And again, now if we just double check our water system, that will just say that we've got the water back through and drained through. Now, because the water works on a pressure system, we do need to drain the water or pull the water through on the hot and the cold on all of the taps, and that includes on the shower also. If we don't get the water through on all taps, we will end up with a little bit of air in the system, and that can just create a problem with the water pump kicking in and out. Once we've got the water through the system, sometimes we may have to clear the little water low level again. If we run out of water, you may just have the little level come up and again, and you just need to press the little arrow. Once you've got the water back through, that will clear that warning level off for you. We can then move on to our heating and hot water system. We know now that by pulling all the water through on the hot side of the taps that our system is full, our boiler's full, and we can then proceed to put our different heating and hot water on. So with a press of the middle button, it will bring the panel to life, and our first setting that we've got there is telling us our internal temperature. So if we want our heating on, we can then set our temperature where we want, and that will just work off the thermostat then and kick in and out. I believe that the temperature at the moment is about 24 degrees inside the Caravan, so I've got to go above that to put the heating on. If we want our hot water, it's the next one along with the thermostat and the water symbols, and again we can then come through. We've got an eco setting, a hot setting and a boost setting. So if you look at it as a low, hot, middle and high. Now I believe the boost setting will only run for about 30 minutes, and that normally works on gas and electric, or just boosts that water up a little bit quicker for you. Your normal setting is going to be in the hot position on your water, and if you've got a site where you were using and it was a low power, low ampage site, you'd run that on the eco. We've got fairly decent electric, so we can put it onto our normal hot setting. One press and that'll come back. We can then set what we want our power to use. So we've got gas and electric, and that will work on the heating and on the hot water. So at the moment we've set gas. We can then go for a mix of gas and electric, a mix of gas and electric 2, so slightly higher, and then we've got electric 1, electric 2, so electric low and electric high effectively. So if we've got our electric, we can then put those on. You'll then notice that we've got a little triangle at the bottom there with a warning light. And if I just make sure that our switch underneath of the bed is on, so the orange switch that we showed you earlier where we've got our controls, we'll put a little picture of that in now. We just need to make sure our hot water and heating system button is pressed and illuminated, the orange button, and that should then clear the issue as we go back into it. So we've now made sure that electric underneath the seat is in the on position. You'll also see that we get a little plug sign just here, just to let us know that we've got the power now turned on. So if you come onto the system and you get the little triangle as we did, and you've not got that plug set in, just make sure that underneath the seat you've got the electric turned on. We then get a flashing light up above that tells us what's actually operating at the moment. So that's now flashing and saying that our hot water is working. Now we're actually up to 28 degrees inside the Caravan, so our heating hasn't kicked in. So if I just turn that back up to 30, I'll go back, and we're actually at 31, yeah. So we've actually turned the heating up to 30, but we've still not reached temperature. It's actually reading at 31 degrees inside the Caravan now. So we're still not getting the heating kicking in, unfortunately. But what would happen is if we were at a slightly lower temperature and we required the heating, we'd then get the gas symbol illuminating and flashing as the hot water one is now. Now, just because it's got a gas symbol doesn't mean that it's working on gas. As we showed earlier, we actually set that to electric 2, so that basically is running on electric, but for the internal heating it just comes up with a symbol of a gas, which again, that just confuse some people and they think that it's working on gas. But if you're unsure, just toggle along to heating setting and electric 2, mix again, we can then electric 1 or electric 2. It doesn't actually matter what we set this on, that gas symbol there is always going to be there if we've got our internal heating on. And now once we've got our heating on, if we wanted to run the blown air heating, we could then set the fan to an eco speed or a high speed, and again we just toggle through with the little button and then press, and that would then choose what we were wanting. We'll then get the information up again saying that we've got our heating on as and when the thermostat requires it. We've got our hot water on, which again is now warming the water up to temperature. We're actually running on electric 2 with the 2 electric symbols, and we've got our fan which will kick in with the heating as and when. All the other symbols that you have got on here are more service symbols, so we can down the bottom go into a service setting, which really only a service engineer should be doing. You can change the time, so you can change the clock. Again, I believe as soon as you disconnect the battery that will lose the time, unfortunately, but you can go into the bottom settings and just adjust that time as and when you need that too. As I say, that will now be heating the water up, and literally within about half an hour that'll start to warm your hot water up, and that will just supply all of the taps within the Caravan. Moving on to the gas side of things, now we always start with making sure obviously our gas bottle is turned on, and we draw the gas through on our hob. The reason for that is that once we get the gas coming through, we'll hear it and we'll actually see that is lighting up. So we turn our gas control valves to where we want, hold them in, hit the igniter, and again it'll take a little bit of time just to get the gas through the system because we've just connected the bottle up. And then when we've got the gas come through, we can physically see that that's lit up. We can then turn that low or high, and again that's the same with all of our gas rings. Now by lighting up these, we can physically see that we get the gas through the system. If we've not used the gas system for a while, this is the quickest way to get the gas in and any air out of the system. It means that the fridge will work a lot quicker, light up a lot quicker on gas. The heating, on if you're using it on the gas, will light up a lot quicker also. Onto the grill. Again, the operation is exactly the same. It's defined by the little light at the top there, or the little line at the top, and we've got a high and a low setting. Igniter lights them all, and again same on the oven. Again, then we can set the temperature to where we want it to. Fully thermostat controlled, so that will get up to temperature as required then. Another thing just to remember, if you've had the hobs on, just make sure these are fully cool and you can actually touch them before we put the glass lid down, otherwise it is going to shatter and damage the glass. Onto our fridge. We've got the freeze compartment at the top, and then to actually operate this we've got a main on and off button at the side, which we just hold for a second and we'll let the lights come up. This is an auto fridge, so we can set it on auto and it will automatically decide what power that we're on. If we want to manually select what we're on, we want to put up onto 230, we select the plug setting. We've then got our temperature setting, which we alter with a little temperature symbol here. We'll always run it on high just for testing, and if you've got it on auto, again it will select what power is plugged in. If we haven't got 230 volt plugged in, it will just automatically go onto the gas. And if we want to go onto the car when we're towing, just onto the battery. Now if we've got an issue with any of the settings, we'll get the warning light and the beeping as we are now. Because we haven't got the car connected and we've got no power from the car, it's basically saying that we're waiting for a signal, we've got nothing connected. So if you start the car, connect it to the 13 pin of the car, start the car, then select the fridge, and that will just stay lit as the other symbols do there. Our individual lights have all got switches around, so to put our cabinet lights on, we've got a switch just here which is on like a rocker switch. Our kitchen lights, just an on and off switch. We have got little LED lights which have got a little white switch either side, and then the two above the top, again we've got a little white switch in the middle there. I believe that's all the lights at the front. The lights at the rear, light switches at the back. We've got a little on and off button just on the side here that will do our overhead cabinets. We've then got a little light switch at the bottom that will put our two individual lights on, and then for our bunk beds, the little button in the very middle, and that will put our bunk bed lights on. And again that's the same on the bottom and on the top. Our bathroom, the light switch is just at the side, so again on, off and on. Our flush for the toilet is just on the top. That is empty, ready for you to travel, but that will flush it through. And then to open the cassette is slide the handle towards the back of the Caravan, and always make sure that that's fully back to the front. If that's not fully back to the front and the trap isn't closed, the cassette won't come out. We have got a little indicator on the top of the cassette here as well that will illuminate when that cassette needs emptying. I normally empty it before that comes on. It is quite a heavy cassette. It's not so bad with these, they've got the wheels, but it's still quite a heavy cassette to actually empty out then. I think that pretty much concludes everything on the van. If there is anything that you want us to go back over, just send us a message in the comments and we can run back through, or again the online manual from Swift, again that covers pretty much anything that we've not covered in full detail. But this guide for this Swift Caravan is going to get you operational, up and running. Hopefully you found it informative. As I say, if there is anything, just let us know. Thanks.